Hi, everybody. I'm here. I'm here. I have no idea where I'm supposed to look on this thing. Wait, I think I'm supposed to look up that way. I don't know. I'll look at your stuff. I have no idea what direction I'm looking at. Okay. See, I hate it when it's turned sideways because I literally don't know. This is how silly I am. Okay, so let's start. Hi. Hi, you guys. And I do have to slow down the chat, and I don't know how to do that. Let me see. Yep, can't do that. Don't have a clue how to slow the chat down. Look through the everything. Can't. Hi, you guys. Good morning or good evening, whatever it is. I just literally wandered in, and some of us are at the beach bicycling, but I'm not right now. But some of us are. Some of us were out running the hills, but I'm not right now. But I was. Anyway, I hope everybody's feeling good, and I was so super excited yesterday. It was really fun. So I'm trying to get a new thing. Lori, if you're out there, Lori's out there probably, not sure. But I wanted to thank you guys last night, all of y'all for the super chats and stuff last night, because it was my first time doing it. And I had absolutely no idea how it works. So forgive me if I didn't get to your questions or anything like that. But I wanted to say that Tulip the kitty, she's an Aries. She did get her good food. So I took bags of food for her. She's very particular. All right, so let's start. I got a bunch of questions from last night. Okay, wait. Hello, I've been loving your live podcast. Thank you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, it seems to be going slower tonight, which is great. It's not blowing up. And I forgot to let everybody know on Facebook that I was doing this. Hold on one sec while I do that. My friend, I just realized she's not here. Australia, Calgary, Glendale. Okay, Glendale, you right down the street. I could have actually been running over Brand Park this morning. I may have been. Oh, let me just do this. Get my computer. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so I wanted to start this off by talking about, let me just sign in, sorry. I want to put it on Facebook so the Facebook people know because they asked me to and I just forgot and now I can't use my phone. I wanted to start off talking about the energy that's going on because, oh my gosh, there's a super chat. It just went by me. I wanted to start off by talking about the energy of what happens when somebody steps outside of their body, because I noticed that question came up a few times last night. Windsor, Ontario, and the bridge, the tunnel. So I want to talk about that, twin flames, some astrology, rising signs, and some Saskatchewan, hello, and all of that. So I will get to it one sec. Let me just tell them on Facebook. Sorry, I'm obnoxious, I know. Okay. Live on YouTube, I'm putting live on YouTube. Thank you guys. Sorry, it's so unprepared. Try to do it quickly and it's hard for me a lot of the times because I have my clients. Thank you guys. Oh, Jean, thank you so much. Okay, so I wanted to first talk about, because one of the questions I got several times last night was, what happens when someone steps outside of their body? So what happens to people when they sell out? And there was very good reply. I read some of the replies and I wrote down everyone's name, and I'm going to grab it and thank everybody. I've got everybody's name written down because I actually couldn't. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Bill Gates. Okay, I will tell you about Bill Gates. But first, I noticed that a lot of people said you can't sell your soul because you don't own your soul. And that's correct. You're from God, so you can't really sell it. But as I explained, people will make contractual deals with powers that be, people that are energetically very forceful, and they will sign these deals and get tricked into believing that they can garner success. And Steven Tyler, I did somebody say Steven Tyler? Oh, don't make me talk about Steven Tyler. So upset. Anyway, don't make me say it. Don't make me do it. Wendy Williams, obvious. Okay, so anyway, what happens is when you agree to do something, as I was explaining, let's say you want really bad to be a really famous artist, okay? So you want to be an amazing artist and you have ability. You are super amazing. You can draw, you can sculpt, you can do all kinds of things, but they're not going to let you get ahead in the business unless you sign the contract. So when you sign the contract, okay, you're agreeing to do certain things. And as such, the second in this frequency, I believe in David Icke 100%. He's correct with aliens, everything he says. I'm not sure about like everything per se, but what his basic concept is exactly correct. What happens is, though, because we're on an earth frequency, which is extremely low level, so a lot of us are having a struggling time on this frequency because it's very materialistic. So it's about the money, and if you have the right car, and if you have, okay, slow down the chat by tapping on it. Okay, where the hell is the chat though? I don't even know where the chat is. Is this it right here? Super chat, live chat. Okay, home. Okay, see, I try to do it. I have no idea. I'm going to figure it out. I swear. It's like I can't think. And I'm blonde. That's no excuse because I'm not really blonde. But okay, so what happens is the Earth's energy is very dense. Okay, it's very slow and very thick. The way I describe it to people for years and years on end, all right, is imagine if you were to climb under your kitchen table and you carried it on your back and you end up walking around in your whole day. So here you are in your body, your clothes and everything, and then you end up walking around with a table on your back. You'd be very cumbersome, like a big elephant or a big rhinoceros or some. Thank you, Sue. I see that. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm trying to keep up again. But you're very cumbersome. So the energy on Earth is very, very, it pulls you to the ground. So it's a very hard energy to maneuver. And the maneuvering here has been manipulated. So we are taught certain things like, we need to, what would the word be? We have to go to school, learn lessons, eat a certain way. Even just think of it this way. We were all taught in the early 1900s, Kellogg's cornflakes, cereal, this, that, and the other. It's good for you. Okay, because the Kellogg's Corporation, thank you, May. Thank you so much. We were taught the Kellogg's Corporation was a health food organization, and that's how they build it. But they actually taught a group of people. I've been thinking about Michael J. Fox actually recently too. But they taught a group of people to eat cereal when it actually had no nutritional value in it and was just basically carbohydrates or beer in a box, if you want to look at it, because beer is very much like cereal. It's cereal. And they taught us because it was cheap and they could convince us that it was healthy. So just look at the way we feed our children, for example, on the earth, the whole pyramid triangle is upside down and wrong and reversed. We have McDonald's and drive-through. Oh, look, it's easy to get food that ends up costing you more and is destructive for your body. So it's very interesting how the energy on the earth works. What happens is when we get down here, we are forced down to a lower vibration. And as such, we believe in certain things in a certain way. So when it comes to making money, now just imagine if you believed, and a lot of people do believe that this is our one life. And I had this conversation on my YouTube with one of the people that left a question, and they said, you know, you mentioned reincarnation. Jesus didn't believe in reincarnation. And I pointed out that none of us know what Jesus really said, or any icon, light worker that comes to earth to teach human beings, because we weren't there that we can remember. If we were there in a different body and we don't remember. But the basic premise of be kind and treat others as you wish to be treated is exactly that. However, if you believe this is your one life here on earth, so you believe that this is it, this, however you showed up, which is actually a pretty depressing thing to believe. But if you believe that, okay, if you believe that that happens and this is your one life here, then of course you want to be really, really super rich, super gorgeous, super thin, super healthy. I mean, healthy should be up there, but when you're getting super thin, you're probably on a lot of cocaine, so you can't really be healthy. Sorry, but seriously. So you want all of these things. And you see, I believe Megan Fox sold out too. I'm sorry, I love Megan Fox. She's so pretty, that girl. What a beauty. But I just feel something about her vibe now makes me feel a little bit different. She's really pretty though. Mark Wahlberg, I think we all know about Mark Wahlberg. Jodie Foster, I'm not sure about. I'm going to assume. See, I can't assume. I shouldn't assume. I'm going to focus on them. But what I'm trying to explain is these people, when it's Gwyneth Paltrow, obviously, she has that ridiculous magazine that looks like a big vagina, though, a big whatever. Like, how in your face can it be? I don't know. So what happens on the earth? So you have this ability and they come in as you're about to strike and make your success. And they come in and they offer you something. They're like, we can make you richer, more powerful. And you believe you only have one life, or you're not sure. So you're testing the boundaries. So you go for it. The minute you go for it, and this is what I'm trying to explain, because our lives are so transitory, because we are attached, we are not even all the way in our bodies all the time, most of us. I mean, that's why people are running around doing drugs and alcohol. Some people are walking into walls. I've done that, but some people are doing stupid shit. Some people aren't fully awake. There's a soul that comes into a body and they're not really awake. So they're they're not seeing things clearly. So they take the deal, and within it's Luciferian. That's correct. Jodie Foster's mother is Luciferian. Well, that explains everything. Why she was the little, remember Jodie Foster as the little copper tone baby as a child? That was Jodie Foster with her little towel and the dog grabbing her butt. That maybe explains a lot about what was going on, how she got into commercials, because quite frankly, there's a lot of talented people. So why these people? Why are these people? And look, and what I said to you guys last night, just to prove the point, number one, you can't sell your soul because you don't own it. So it's like selling somebody else's house. You can trick someone into paying you, but it is a trick. So a lot of times people are tricked just by wanting to get into the career they want to get into. So we have to remember in this life, even if we don't succeed in this life doing what we want because we don't want to do that, it doesn't mean we should stop doing what we love and our passion. And it may come about, the energy's changing a lot right now. Tom Cruise sold out, definitely. You get tricked because of your own greed. You know those people that they get a call on the phone at like around Christmas and they're like, oh, we have Best Buy gift cards. We just need you to transfer $40 from your bank account or $400. We'll send the gift cards to you. Here's the gift card numbers. You can buy whatever. We need the cash. Okay, so your own greed to get twice the amount of money that you're going to do from the gift cards, which are fake anyway, you send them the money and then you say, I got ripped off. That's what happens with a soul contract. You're actually agreeing to join the club, the cult, in order to get your success. Now, not every person in the world is a Luciferian, obviously, okay? Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Lucy. Lucy Lou, I think. It's not Lou, lie. I don't know how to say that, forgive me. I try. So we learn through our own greed that we want to have the successful life. Now, the secret to avoid being caught up in anything, I believe Beth Chapman, Dog, all of those, I never really watched it, so I may be saying their names differently. I believe they were all involved in this kind of thing. I don't know why I want to say that. But if you can detach on an emotional level from wanting anything, literally detach from wanting it. This is blue. This is something blue. Thank God I went to the manicures before they closed it down, right? Or what would I be doing? I'd be in big trouble. And I ordered a bunch of bleach online so I can do my own hair. So we'll see how that turns out. We'll see. We'll let you know. We'll do a bleach video about how to do bleach. Oh my gosh, that just went by. Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm like, you have no idea how appreciative. And I'm going to learn how to slow this down. It's literally, I'm working all day with clients. And then I fall asleep right after my work for like 40 minutes because I'm exhausted. And then I get up and I find coffee and then find my kids and then come back. Anderson Cooper most definitely came from a Luciferian family. And that is the only reason that he is part of the media, in my opinion. What happens is, though, when these people, if you're born into a religious family like Nicole Kidman, okay, wait, somebody, I have a poodle, a standard poodle, shut up. Whoever just said about the standard poodle. Okay, I had a standard poodle. I'm totally switching. And yes, I'm ADD. I had a standard poodle named Tucker, standard 90-pound poodle, and he was jet black, and his name was Tucker because he could tuck all this food away, and he was super, super cute. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yoga, something just went by. Anyway, Tucker, I put him to sleep, and that's unfortunate. I'm very sad about it. But here's the story. Oh, do you want me to tell you a really cool story? You just reminded me, totally off topic, and I'm getting back to the souls after. I know I piss you guys off. I'm trying not to. Okay, so my kid was like 13, my Jason, and so Keithy would have been 10. Anyway, Tucker was like 16 going 17, and he had cancer, and he fell down the stairs, and his hip was hurting, and his kidneys were shutting down. So we decided to put, well, we didn't decide. I decided, because he was my puppy, and the kids knew him. Anyway, I snuck him to the vet, and he crossed over, but it was because he was so sick. He was going to need surgery and everything, and I still feel so guilty. So I never told my boys. I told them that morning on their way to school, Tucker's really sick, give him some love, you know, this, that, and the other, knowing what I was going to do, but not telling them. Middle of the night, I kid you not, my Jason taps me on the shoulder. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, what do you want? And he's standing there looking at me, and he's furious, okay? So, okay, Cassie's there, Tucker, Cassie, okay, wherever you see Cassie going up there, I just saw Tucker, my buddy, so I know it's Cassie. So Jason taps me on the shoulder, and I'm like, what do you want? And he He goes, Tucker's mad at you. You killed him. And I went, what? And he's like, yeah, Tucker told me. And then he said Tucker jumped on him in his dream, jumped on his chest, threw him out of his body. And he said to me, I had trouble coming back in, but he's really mad at you for killing him. And I thought, oh shit, my dog thinks I killed him. So anyway, then the kids knew that I put him to sleep, and I had no idea because Tucker told them. So like 4 weeks later, Tucker was in Aries, and about 4 weeks later, this was sometime at the end of February, 6 weeks later, I noticed this tiny kitten on the neighbor's fence. And I'm like looking at this kitten. So I take it back to my neighbor and I'm like, your little kitten got out and it's like really tiny. And she's like, oh no, my son brought that home. We don't want it anymore. And I'm like, I know, I will never put another animal to sleep. I ask for forgiveness every day. But the little kitten came back, and so I saw the little kitten, and we're all allergic. So I took the kitten up to the pool, and I said to John, can I keep this little kitten? And he's like, we're all allergic. You have asthma. And I'm like, don't I though? Anyway, Tulip is now 13. She's in Aries, and she used to hiss and bite at me a lot. She was Tucker come back. I'm convinced of it. So her name's Tulip, and you have the poodle named Tulip and not a dog named Tucker. See? That's the long-winded story. Anyway, you made me think. Thank you for making me think of that, because I miss Tucker, and I will never put another animal to sleep. It was the worst. It was the worst. And quite frankly, I was a little bit selfish at the time, and I won't do it again. I will never. Tulip is Tucker. I know Tulip is Tucker. That's why Tulip scratched the shit out of my ankles. And then I have to finish that story. So I put Tucker's flea powder on Tulip when she came into the house because I didn't know where she'd been. And she's just really little. And I taught her how to climb up the little plant at the side of the house and climb up on the second window and climb in my window and go back out. Long, boring story short, I put the flea powder on her, and I had a dream that night, and I dreamt that she was being poisoned from the flea powder. So I went in Jason's room, and she literally was on the floor writhing. And this is a plug for Dr. Sharp in the Valley. If anybody is over by the Home Depot off of Sherman Way, and I forget the name of the street now. Anyway, Dr. Sharp, Christian Sharp in the Valley, I didn't have very little money at the time and my kids, and he took Tulip in. Keep in mind, she was like this big, and he said, no, you can't put a big dog's flea powder on a kitty. I didn't even think of that. I just didn't want fleas in the house. And he took Tulip home, and he put her on a dialysis thing for 2 days, barely charged me like maybe $150, saved her life. She's now 13. She hisses at him every time we go in to see him, but that's a love hiss. She's like a feisty Aries kitty. Anyway, she like comes out and she goes, "Rear," and then she's friendly with him, but she has to let him know who the boss is. But she remembers, and so he saved her. So that's Dr. Sharp in the Valley. Super, super cool. Anyway, he did that, and I said, I don't have much money. Like, if this is going to take a couple $1,000, I really don't have it. And he just really saved her life. So I can say that. Anyway, getting back to the souls, what happens is, long story, the dog's soul went into the cat's soul, and now that's it. But what happens is when you sell out, immediately the energy on earth, because this is run, I'll say it's a lower vibration with entities that are not of God. I don't even want to say in the light, because I have some confusion about that myself. But the light, or the God energy, all right, I'm going to say light workers. I don't even want to say that. The God source, the energy does not reside on earth. It resides in our soul, but not on the earth plane. For some reason, this earth plane conjures up more of a satanic vibe. And I want you to keep in mind, I don't think there's one Satan running around the earth with a pitchfork and horns and a tail, going running through the earth. I think the beast system that we live amongst is groups, and it's spread out in many, many things, like an ant farm. So amongst those that are of God are the ant farm, that is the beast system that runs at all different levels. This is what I really believe. So a lot of what happens is the minute that you agree to something that is on that level, then you're treated like you're on that level, and out you go. You go to the side, or maybe they say to you, look, come to a ritual. Let's put this music on. Let's dance. Let's let this vibe get into your body. And then suddenly it's in your body. And then you are having trouble getting in your front door again. Squatters. Okay, Russell Brand. That was a good thing. I started that story last night, and I'm going to finish it. I'm really sorry, you guys. Okay, so Russell Brand, I went to see him because he was at the Conscious Life Expo. And if Courtney Ray is on here, I don't know if she is. Anyway, I ran into her. So I went to see Russell. I wanted to hear what he said in the spiritual sense, because Russell Brand helped open up one of the children's shelters that my friend Freehab in the Valley. So Russell was one of the people. Thank you for that. And I didn't even see, because of course I'm not wearing my glasses. They're on my head. This makes my face look fatter, you guys. That's why I wear glasses, because I can't put it on slow mode. It will slow down. I know, but I can't find the button for slow mode, making me crazy. Anyway, what happened with Russell Brand is I went to watch him speak, and there was probably 200 of us. Now, keep in mind, it ended up being about $140, maybe it was like 120, and then 50 to get into the convention. Okay. So we went into the room, and there was the stage and all of this, and he was going to speak for about an hour. I want to say an hour and a half, if I'm correct. Anyway, he spoke, and I watched and I listened to Russell. So I was sitting next to this young girl, this young lady that was going to be a therapist taking her master's. Quite lovely, from San Francisco, flew into the expo, and I felt like I wanted to sit beside her. There was all of these people that had been addicts. You could kind of tell by what they were saying, former addicts, and that's all great. And he's talking about his philosophy as opposed to the AA philosophy. What I noticed, and the only thing I noticed, I tried to look at him. I was not up close to the stage. He walked around the room. You can't really tell from that. But what I noticed was he was doing incantations on stage. I have no idea whether he knew that or not. He was speaking about his stuff, and this was great. And he was talking about AA and how high he was on heroin and the stupid shit he did and all of that. And that's super hilarious to listen to. His sense of style is funny. He has very poignant points. All of this was good. But then I was looking at this girl here, we're kind of talking, and I would hear the tone of his voice speed up, like he was almost talking in some kind of dialect, and he would talk really fast like this, and then I noticed his hands, and I'm not even going to do it, but he was using his hands in thank you, Carol, or yeah, Carol, thank you. I'm like, thank you, Carol. I'm like, I think that's what it says. But he was using his hands, and he was whipping them around like this, but I'm not doing it with my fingers. But what he was doing was an incantation. That's what he was doing, okay? He literally was speeding up the tone of his speech so that it would click your brain almost into a hypnotic thing, and he would go in and out of this. So the fourth time he did it, I looked at him and I saw something step in, and I went, whoa, something's stepping in there. Anyway, so I saw that like that, and I went, he's doing an incantation. In effect, he's basically trying to, now, here's where I was confused. I didn't necessarily feel it was evil, but I wondered if he was doing this in order to unite the energy of the audience all at once so that we would continue to bring money and wealth to him. This is what I thought. Angel, thank you so much. And oh my God, Mira Dana, I don't know how to say that. Forgive me. I'm so Canadian. It's not funny. Anyway, I believe that they use their energy to keep their fan base tied to them, much like they do. Let me use another way of doing this, a more obvious way. A lot of you know about NLP. You know about that, neuro-linguistics programming. Same thing. If I go like this, you do that to mirror me, to kind of draw me in, to make you think you're on my side. I don't like it. It's manipulative. I feel like energetically he was doing some kind of incantation to pull the audience in. So with Russell Brand, I'm not really sure. He did a lot of drugs. So unless he's really cleaned the body's energy, there's still a chance that he can get out of his body super easy because he did this, you know. That's what I'm going to say. But I did enjoy it, and I learned, and I found it to be a teaching tool. So I was excited about that. That's what I'll say with that. But what happens is a lot of these people, somebody mentioned a rapper who now has it. It's interesting how they all have the virus and are going crazy. Now, it feels like a cult. Yes, it feels like a cult. So once you agree, understand, this is how I see this cult. It is a money cult, okay? So it is a cult of money. It is bankers that control talent. They try to harness the talent. So the actors are, in fact, oh, bleach your hair. Great. If you can get over here, you can bleach my hair. but it's a cult of money and power. So if you have a skill, your skill is your commodity. Like being a hairdresser is a huge commodity, because even when people are broke, they will get their hair done. They'll get their hair cut, they'll get their hair shaved, trimmed, whatever. People will do this. Even when broke, they'll do their nails. They will do things like get their glasses. They will buy coffee. They will get readings. They will do these things. So those are tradable commodities that people have. Creative gifts that can be exchanged in lieu of money. I do your hair, you do my reading, I do your nails, you lend me a jacket. You have cat food, I have sugar, whatever. It's done like that. So when the bankers, who I feel are the main cabal, the people running the investment on, this is a material world. So the bankers, when they notice people, Virgo Sun, Scorpio rising, okay, awesome. That's pretty heavy, actually. That could make you a super secret psychic with all that. Very, very particular about who you read. So what happens is they want to control. Nobody wants anybody creating on their own, which is why YouTube is actually a really amazing platform until they try to take it down on some level, because people can come on here and it gives everybody, each of us, a chance to see something that's not scripted or structured out there, because the bankers want to control it. They want to control the musicians. They want to control the actors. They want to control it. So I mean, okay, let's give you an example going way back in the day, but somebody like Regis Philbin, who was on the morning show with Kathy Gifford and whoever else before that, and then the little one, Kelly Ripa. So all of that, that guy had an agent his whole career, okay? He was already famous, like probably before all of us were born. He was already famous. Tell me why his agent got 10% of his money his entire life. That's like being a pimp. These people are hood rat pimps, okay? Sorry, not Regis Philbin, not him. The agents, the managers, okay? Unless they are in lieu and working with, why would you get somebody's earnings for their whole life? It's being in perpetuity. That's part of what's going on, and it's hidden under the guise of a contract for any kind of creative person, for any kind of anything. We have all these contracts on the planet. Fuck these contracts, all right? Like, be serious. It's money greed. It is. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. It's money greed. So when you agree, let's say you're a young actor and you sign a contract and you're like, yeah, I'll come to your parties. And then you see something that really fucks with your head, but you're already in on it. And then they tell you they have video of you doing it because you can't remember because you were too drunk the other night. Then your own shame comes in. So you're not supposed to be in shame. You're not supposed to run your life being in shame, but they get you on that. The way to break through that energetically, the way to break through that is, number one, never have shame. If you did some kind of weird ass sex, some kind of weird ass drugs, dress like a hoe, were a hoe, whatever you did, do not have shame about it. There's no need to have shame. Even if you made the biggest mistake in your life, sold a contract, had sex with somebody you shouldn't have, illegal thing, make amends, never do it again. Promise yourself to be a better person. Ask God to forgive you. Ask the person to forgive you. And then move on. Do not be held captive by blackmail because you have shame, okay? Really, this is the thing. It is a shame culture. Don't have shame. We all make mistakes. If we were perfect, wouldn't we be God? Why would we be here? We wouldn't be here to answer that question. We would not be here. So what happens is these people get caught up in the ritual of shame. And as they continue to participate, I never actually believed this when I was younger. I never believed it. I thought I could be around any kind of thing, and watch it and not participate and be okay with it. And I don't mean like crazy murder or anything. I just mean, if people did drugs, a lot of times I was around people who did drugs and I did not do drugs. I was around people that responded to things in a certain way and I was not like that. And I was like, well, I could still be friends with them. But if it corrupts your mind and you begin to accept it, okay, if you begin to accept it, then at a certain point, what won't you accept? And I never thought it, but when I have my own kids and they try to pull their stunts in my house by bringing certain things in the house, and it was weed back then, which is apparently no big deal. And I wasn't even concerned with it, but as a parent, I was like, you're not bringing that in the house. And it was a fight all through their teenage years, every single day. They bring it in, I'd throw it out. And they didn't like that, and they got super mad at me for it, but I couldn't allow my barriers to be broken down. These were my boundaries. And so I couldn't let them think it was okay for me to view that, even though I wasn't really that upset by it personally. And I don't even smoke pot. I mean, I think it's stinky and smells like old dead socks, but whatever. It wasn't like they were shooting up in the house. So you have to actually set boundaries for what's acceptable, because people will try to push those boundaries, and that's what's going on in this cult. It is a blood cult. Androchrome is real, or adrenochrome. I don't know how to say it, actually. It is actually a real thing. And yes, Tom Hanks should be, he should be ashamed of himself. He should be, yeah, pot made me, I smoked it a couple of times, it made me nuts. He should be ashamed of himself. If you look at his Instagram, he has all of the trappings of one of the people who is basically a blood cult member. This is what they are: Aquarius, Sun, Scorpio rising, and Virgo something, moon, like Virgo moon. We've had 2 of you on tonight. What we have to remember is the people that are ruling our planet right now, literally the people in charge. You and I and all of us were born at a certain point. So I'm in my 50s, right? So I was born in the year 66. Isn't that apropos? But anyway, I was born back then. So I came into a world where what I was taught was things like Disney were what you watched. You did certain things. You wore certain clothes. You did all of these things. It was just taught to me, and I don't recall questioning it. I have no idea if Trump is good or not. What I do know about Trump, and I am not supporting him, so don't send me the hate mail. I'm not supporting anybody. Justin Trudeau is not good. But here's what I'm going to say. I wouldn't vote in that sense because I don't believe the playing field is fair. So I can't participate in something where it's already rigged to begin with, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, and y'all should do whatever you want. There's another 1966, I know. So interesting. Scorpio, Virgo, Gemini, another one tonight. Here's what I will say about Trump. If you do the research on our current president, more pedophiles, child sex traffickers, humanities traffickers, people who traffic humans, whether it be children for sex, children for domestic help, children for whatever, he has arrested and put more of them in jail than in the past 15 years under Bush, Obama, whoever was before, Clinton, all of those 3. Okay. So we've got Republican, Democrat equally going down the road. So it's very much like that. Okay. Cult personality sign. So in that sense, when I look at the figures with Donald Trump, more pedophiles are being arrested, child traffickers. And that's really the one thing that I care about, is that children are not being brutalized by fucked up adults who want to profiteer off their blood in this blood cult so that they can get everything they want and have everything around them. So I don't like that. So if I were to say anything besides the fact, and yes, Trump speaks like a guy at times that's just like, oh my God, okay, like a guy in, oh, whatever. Anyway, I've heard lots of men talk that way. All of us have heard men talk this way. I talk that way. I use bad language. You know, if I get into somewhere and I'm out with my friends, I'm like, you should hear me. I've actually been scolded by men for the way that I talk. Like I care. But I've been told to shut up and all of this. And I'm like, well, fuck you, motherfucker. Anyway, but my point, I'm sorry, but my point is we all say things. So that's not like the worst thing. What I feel is if you can protect children and you make it your point to protect children, then I'm going to pay attention to you because you're protecting children. So I'm going at it from that point. As far as government ruling the people, I am not. I love the C word. It is my favorite word on the planet. I'm not going to say it here, though. I'm going to refrain from being that a-hole tonight. But I don't like government interference in my life as much as it is right now, like having FEMA fight with the different states, fight with the government over who's giving ventilators. Are you kidding me? You say it's so dangerous I have to stay in my house for the rest of my life. You're letting every business go under, but yet you're not going to like just give us the ventilators. Who are you people? Multiple personalities, very interesting. Multiple personalities to me, I've changed my opinion on this because I know through sexual abuse in childhood, you can bring about multiple personalities, and these people in the blood cult, they do this, okay? They do it. That's what they're doing. They're opening themselves up to do that. So children that have been sexually abused or farmed out or tortured or raped or whatever it is, they have different personalities because a lot of times they have to stay in the house with the abuser, is their parent on some level, or their uncle or their housemate or whatever, and they actually have to stay in the house with these people. So of course they're going to pull on a different personality when you have to sit across the breakfast table from a man that molested you when you were a kid or whatever it is. Why would you not? Like, you can't live in that level of trauma, so you have to let another person come in so that you can go about your daily life without killing yourself. Okay, Justin Timberlake. I thought you were going after Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau, and I'm going to say this, why does he have so many pedophiles around him? And I'm Canadian, and all you Canadians, I'm really sorry, but I don't know why that guy's in office. Number one, he's stupid. He talks stupidly. He does a town hall meeting. I'm really sorry. I've got to say this. He does a town hall meeting where he doesn't want the word male, he or she used, and he tells a woman who's speaking about women being abused that she should use the word people. So now he, in effect, is abusing her by controlling her type of speech. A typical control freak saying, don't speak that way, or you should say it this way. How about you should shut up, Justin Trudeau, right? Oh, I know. He's supposed to be Fidel Castro's kid. I feel so Cuban right now. I feel like I want to start a Cuban revolution. It's my joke. My Cuban lifetime's coming out, and I don't even know if I have one. I just want to start a revolution and say, fuck this, you people. Who are you? They're shutting down businesses everywhere. I'm sorry, I digress. If we don't see people with this in the next month that actually like are more than the swine flu that died or are more than HIV or tuberculosis, I'm going outside. I'm still going outside anyway. And if you're going to shame me and say I may be infected, I'm sorry. That's too bad, because I'm going to go see my kids. I'm going to see my grandkid. I'm going to go buy bread, and you're letting me stand in the line next to coughing people who actually coughed on me. Yes, they did. And that's their problem, because I don't believe I'm going to get it. I don't believe I'm going to get it. That's a trick. I don't believe I'm going to get it. My energy is just like, I'm not going to get it. I may be delusional though at this point because I've been stuck in the house. Okay, wait, I saw another Scorpio sun, Virgo rising, Virgo moon. I believe, before I get into the astrology, I believe what we're talking about with Tom Hanks. Did you guys see the video of Rita Wilson? Now, maybe she's trying to look sick and demented on purpose, but when I watch these celebrities' Instagrams, I'm actually looking at them and I'm like, okay, so you got paid millions to go on camera, okay, and oh, you're so creative that we're gonna give you award shows. And I'll admit, hey, I loved working the Golden Globes when I did it. I did it in 2010. I freaking loved it, okay? I loved dressing up. I loved going down there. I was on an internet thing when it was just starting. I loved it. I was like, look at me. I'm super cool, and I still had sunglasses on my head. I freaking loved it. However, I've always thought, other than working it, that it was very interesting that the whole society, okay, all of society is about these awards by people who do the stuff, give the awards to themselves, pay for themselves, and then rope us all into watching it, because that is just weird. So we are changing that dynamic now. We have YouTube, and everybody can go out and create on their own. They don't need to do this. You can get somebody with an iPhone on the street corner doing shit. My kid was doing that when they were younger. They were skateboarding all over town and videotaping themselves. And videotaping themselves doing Irish jigs on people's roofs. I found those videos. I'm sorry, it was really funny. I was like, what the hell are you doing when you're supposed to be in school? But what happened, I have to add my kids into everything because I freaking love them. And I'm going to talk about them so they know I love them, so that they can call me up, text me while I'm talking to you. Thank you, Louise. Thank you so much. A fan. I have a fan. I'm like so excited. But what I was saying is our world, okay, I do think people haven't sold out. There are people. Those are the people. You can't assume every single one of them has sold out, but I'm asking you, and they have very nice dispositions, because if they walked around and you really saw who they were, like, you would be repelled, and you certainly wouldn't go sit in an audience with them, and you certainly wouldn't go talk to them, and you certainly wouldn't support them if you could actually see them. But I'm going to tell you how you see them. The veil is so thin right now. It's really, yeah, Isaac Cappy, I feel, is really dead, to tell you the truth. I really do feel he's dead. And it breaks my heart. He had a tremendous sense of humor, and he was like off the cuff, and he was like, fuck you people, you did this and that, Tom Hanks. called them right out, what they did with him, because I believe he did actually take himself to the bridge and jump over it. But here's what happens. This is how I want to, somebody asked me about suicide. What I want to talk about suicide, because it's so devastating to people, okay? It's so hard when somebody commits suicide. It is really devastating. I don't believe human beings commit suicide. Yes, I know they do. But the entities that live on the astral, and this is real, people. You can call me a crazy, batshit crazy bitch, but it is real. These people that live on the astral level, actually, these people, these entities, these low level people that get life force from us on our fear, on our self-hatred, until we know who we are and raise our vibration, okay, they will play on our fears. So if at all in your head you're thinking, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, like all the women on the planet, which is so ridiculous, okay? We need to take the mirrors out of our house and we need to stop actually looking at ourselves. I'm so much happier when I don't actually look in the mirror. Of course, my lipstick could be like this, but sometimes I put it on while I'm driving. I get out of the car, I'm like, whoa. But we would be so much happier if we weren't focused on that, if we were focused on our souls, okay, just our souls. But we're not. We're focused on how we look. And then when they know we don't feel good about ourselves, remember, the astral level is right outside of the physical, this physical. So we're on a very low level next to hell, basically. I call this hell. I'm not sure this isn't hell. And a shout out to one of my clients who said to me on the phone, are you sure we're not all dead? And I'm like, I fucking think I am dead. It's so bizarre out there. I really think that maybe we are being saved and resurrected and we don't even know it. We're so stupid. We think we're still living. This is weird. This is weird. Our world is very, what the hell? Kathy Griffin, please. Do you think she responds normally? Do you think that woman responds normally and then she starts boo-hooing when she gets, she was kind of, you know, whatever. All right. She was whatever. She did what she did and she got bitch slapped back. So you're going to be a bitch. You're going to get punched in the face back. And why shouldn't you? Nobody, not you, not me. We're not going to put up with people talking to us that way. Fuck them. We're just not. We're not. But what happens is on this planet, we end up getting sucked into the energy. So the earth is like this. And okay, all of you, what I want you to do is I want you one day to go outside and walk somewhere where it's really quiet, or in your house where it's really quiet. Of course, you wouldn't be walking around there, but walking through your house. And I want you to feel, if you can ever feel a presence. The presence that you feel or the spirit that you see, when they come through to connect with you, they're coming through that astral level. And there's a lot of tricksters on the astral level, which is what they're talking about when they say, how do you know it's not a trick? How do you know it's not this? How do you know it's not that? Well, you don't really, because there's a lot of trickers right there, okay? Okay, somebody said something about somebody missing, which I will look into. I have to see who it is and I'll bring it up. Part of the problem is we don't believe, we think the world is what this is, okay? We think the world is like right here. This is all we have. 5G, I've heard two different things. 5G is frying our brain, or 5G is raising our vibration. And oh yeah, suicide, sorry. So that's the 5G, I'll get back to that. Suicide, the negative entities on the astral level. Let me give you an example of that. And I've spoken about it in some of my other videos, I think. Maybe it was on Facebook. I had a client probably 35 years ago, young man, a couple of years older than me. I was like 21. He might have been 25. Straight guy, from what I could tell. Suddenly started turning tricks as a gay guy. Thought it was his drug problem. Used to come to me high. I get a lot of clients that come to me high and then eventually leave sober after years of talking while they're on drugs. It's quite interesting. Anyway, came to me. So I talked to him for several months and I was like, you know, the drugs are probably making you think this way, but I couldn't figure it out because he had been straight. So it was like a weird time frame at 25. Suddenly I'm going to be gay when you like chicks, right? One time he walked in and a woman came in beside him in spirit. I just saw a glimpse of her and she was like holding on to his energy. So there he was, a guy dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, normal guy. And there she was in a red dress. So she was showing me that she was a working girl. And she had this long dark hair, real pretty. And she had this wicked smile on her face. And I was like, the hell is she smiling at? And then I realized This girl had committed suicide by ODing, was a prostitute, didn't want to go into the other side to deal with her shit. So she attached herself energetically to somebody that opened up, okay, opened up through doing drugs. And she was living vicariously through him, which means she would screw men for money. So what was he doing? So once he sobered up, once he was cleared of that energy, and he went to several different healers, and it took a long time. It took like 6 years, actually. Came back completely normal and was grounded in his body again. You can get back into your body, but remember, every time you leave, this is why they say, bless you when you sneeze, because something can get in. Like, it's a true thing. When you do drugs, you're leaving your front door open to your energy centers. So the more drugs you do, the more open you are to things attaching themselves. So suicide to me is people on the other level, like this guy with the prostitute out there, like that guy, and they sit there and they don't want to do their responsible thing and deal with the bullshit that they did on earth. They'd rather cause more chaos. So I believe they place the thoughts in our head. And actually, I can hear them talking on the astral. I can hear them. I know other psychics can hear them. This war has been won. What we're doing right now has been won on the other side, and it is a spiritual war. People are really in the blood cult. I'm not even going to insult Satanists by saying that all Satanists behave this way, or Luciferians. I'm not going to do that, because you're entitled to believe what you want. If you don't think that God, the God that I think of, is a good God, and you want your God, you certainly have a right to do that. Astral traveling is what I'm talking about. When you astral travel, you are going into the astral levels. And that is how people get their information psychically. But you have to be careful, because these entities over there, if you have a weakness in your thought, a weakness, let's say you're hiding the fact that you like to have sex with men that dress like women who wear purple shoes, okay? And you love that shit. And they got to be over 6'2". And you love it, right? You're like, oh, I fucking love that. And you hide it because you don't think your family's going to like it. If they can pick that up in your thoughts, they're going to send that shit to you so that you tweak your head and feel like you have to kill yourself. That's how they do it. Most of the souls that I've talked to that have actually killed themselves immediately in the process of going out of their body, almost like they're caught jumping off a bridge midstream, if you could slow-mo it down, and they're caught like that. And then suddenly they're like, oh shit, why did I do this? I have no idea which direction I'm supposed to look at in this. I'm just going to look at your comments. I don't even know where the camera lens is when I turn this sideways. This is how inexperienced I am. But that's what happens in the cases of suicide. And not all suicides go to hell. That is just crap. You are always, always elevated energetically. What I do know with suicides and ODs, which I call reckless suicide, because you're doing something you know could kill you. You just don't expect that to be the outcome. What I found is your energy is shut down until your vibration is raised again into in alignment with neutrality as opposed to the trauma. Then you are able to elevate up energetically, and then you do what you do, and you can be in God's arms, so to speak. And there is a God. There really is. So we have to pray. This is what I want everybody doing, because this is so weird right now, the energy. I also want people to know that if they speak up about their beliefs, whether you believe politically in something, if you believe spiritually in something, if you believe that Tom Hanks is a satanic pedophile, whatever it is you believe in, I had to get that in there, didn't I? If you believe in that, whatever it is, the blood cult, then speak it. It doesn't matter if people don't believe you, because if you're speaking from your truth, then you should be allowed to say it. They're allowed to pollute our TVs with their nonsense and their crap. Again, I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. When I look at these people's Instagram and the fact that they have all this free time and they're supposed to be so fucking creative, why am I looking at bullshit? I'm watching Maria Shriver talk about roses that she received on St. Patrick's Day that are clearly pink and red. She's saying they're green. They are lovely, but she's nuts. I'm looking at Catherine Zeta-Jones, who looks like her eyes are going like this, and she's about to be a shapeshifter, and the spirit's going to jump out of her body like freakish. I'm listening to David Spade, who I really don't know, and I'm going to mention again how and why he's considered funny or famous. Clearly, the public doesn't decide, we are told. They're saying it's not as fun to be at home without, he was saying, without the applause and the standing O's, he said. And the standing O's, it's like, you know what? You have a laugh track and nobody's fucking standing, giving you a standing ovation, okay? It's not like you cured cancer, so back off. Anyway, what is he doing saying that if Tom Hanks makes it through this virus, then we're all going to make it? Clearly, Tom Hanks, looking at him, does not look that sick. I mean, he's not upside down in bed, you know. He wouldn't be on Instagram if he was that sick. When you're truly that sick, you're probably not Instagramming yourself. I'm just saying, I could be a crazy bitch, but I'm just saying it. So what is he saying? And he's speaking in code, because he then goes on and proceeds in this thing to say, I'm going to go up on my roof and get my shotgun and I'm going to take some people out. Who the fuck are you? Are you now threatening us from the rooftops? I don't think he's doing that to me personally, but I'm asking you to watch how these people are responding and asking yourself, how did they ever get these $1 million jobs on TV like that? Seriously, how did that happen? What is that about? I mean, okay, so you want to know how to clean your energy. First of all, the entities, the demonic, the fucked up tricksters, just like on Earth, you got, when you send your kid to kindergarten, you got some really sweet babies in kindergarten. You got some corruptors. You remember Leave It to Beaver? Go back and look at, you know, what was that guy's name? Eddie, whoever, whatever, the kid that corrupted. You've got the fakers that are polite. They're like, thank you and yes and no. You've got the good kids, the Beav. You've got Wally, the brother, you know, I don't know if he was good or bad, whatever. He was just there. You've got all of these things going on at one time. So the same thing on the astral level. Nothing is all good or bad. There's all different layers. It's textured. It so goes on. Let me give you an example of that. In the mid 90s, I got tons of clients. Maybe it was early 2000s actually. Tons of clients coming to me that would sit down. This is, as I said, up until 2 years ago, I had people for 30 years in and out of my house at my kitchen table, wherever I lived. But I got people that would come in and they would tell me they had a chip in their head. You've heard this all over coast to coast, okay? You've heard the chip people. I have a chip. I have a chip. I have a chip. Yes, it sounds crazy. However, they're going to want to chip us now. So I want you all to say no to that. They do. They have a chip, actually. Some people are testing it. There really is a chip going into the body. So I wonder if these people were chipped before or after or whatever. But having said that, they all thought they had chips. Now, what I would see with them is that, sorry, my ear, Jesus, somebody just asked if my ear was ringing. I'm like, somebody just tickled my ear with a feather right there, right? Somebody over here. Anyhow, I'm not going to pay attention to them. I am not paying attention to them. Somebody's trying to come through and I'm not going to listen. Anyway, there was people that would sit down. When they sat down in front of me, I saw tubes. Okay, I'm talking for a split second. I would see tubes coming out of their head and they would go up above me. I don't know where they went. I was like, I don't understand what that is. I have no idea. So I would see these tubes and I'll be like, I don't understand. I'm like, what is that, right? So I think that had something to do with their energy being harnessed. I also believe cancer is a very living life form type of thing that has invaded the body, may be an alien that takes the human out. I've changed my opinion of cancer too. This is why they can't find a cure for cancer. They can take money though. Okay, so wait, now I just freaking forgot what somebody asked me about. Okay, anyway, so that's what I think happens. I think there's tons of things that go on the astral level that cause people to be corrupted in their thoughts. So the best way to clear your energy is to actually not allow negative thoughts. Now, how do you do that, especially when you're OCD with Tourette's, which I am? I don't really have Tourette's. I feel like I have Tourette's. And I'm very ADD, OCD. Very OCD. So OCD that sometimes I didn't want to chew food, okay? Like I'm batshit crazy that way. However, it is a genetic thing. So what do you do when a thought gets in your head? So let's say there's a negative thought. What is something like bulimia? Bulimia is repetitive thinking in an OCD way where they believe that they have to get rid of the food that lives in their body. So something about the food and the way it feels makes them uncomfortable, makes them think it's going to make them fat, and the thought keeps ruminating like crazy circles in their head, right? Duh, like this. And then they have to actually go and be bulimic. So the way to do it, it takes 21 days to clear any negative thought form that you may repetitively wake up and do. So if you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm old, I'm stupid, I'm tall, I'm short, whatever the hell it is you're saying, I'm gay, I'm straight, I'm lazy, all I want to do is eat chicken all day. I don't know, whatever it is you say, okay, you have to actually, for 21 days, every time the negative wording comes into your head, take it with a positive. So I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid is finding something about yourself that is really lovely. So I like my teeth, I like my earrings, I like my hair, my glasses, I like my shoes, I like my heart, I like my nail polish, my nails, my hands, my ankles are my best part, whatever it is. You have to continue. I don't care how stupid it sounds, but you have to take this and change that. Yes, you can quit smoking in 21 days, okay? You can do all of those things. You can absolutely, addictions, anything. It takes 21 days energetically to change yourself because you're not allowing the thoughts. And if you want to quit smoking quickly, if you want to do anything quickly, I am a firm believer of this. Okay, say, I am a non-smoker now. I am a non-meth taker now. I am a non-crack pipe smoker now. I am a non-sugar eater now. I am whatever it is you want to stop or achieve, and the word now. You don't want to say, I will quit smoking, I will quit eating, I will be a better person. You want to say, I am a non-smoker now. I am a healthy non-smoker now. I am a healthy exercising non-smoker now. If you want to be successful, instead of being very specific about your success like they teach you, like I want to rule the NBA and be governor of Chicago by the time I'm 42, whatever, you get the point. What you would say is, I am abundantly successful now at my business. Or you put that before the now. I am abundantly successful now. No, I am abundantly successful at my business now. I am happily working now. I am in a loving, sexual, reciprocal relationship now. That's one of my favorite ones. Say whatever it is now. Now, this differs from people that are all out there, all over the place saying, you know how they use the I am phrase? That's different. That's using God's name as to say, I am. So it's a different thing. It means I am. So when you say I am Tony, for example, I'm just making that up because I'm not Tony. So if you say, I am Tony, so, you know, I am Reba, I am whatever, that's saying I am God. It's a weird thing. But if you say, I am a non-smoker now, you are not saying, I will be a non-smoker. I plan to be a non-smoker. Here's my vision board. I'm going to be a non-smoker in 2021. You are saying, I am a non-smoker now. Yes, there are shadow people. I believe the shadow people actually live on the astral level. So they come through dimensions. They come through dimensions. There's portals all over the world. That's why you can see things. You can go to certain areas. You can feel the freaking energy around you, and you know they can come through. They come through. It's like Star Trek. I use Star Trek. I didn't know I was such a huge fan of the original Star Trek, okay? I didn't realize I was a huge fan. Apparently I am. As a kid, it tortured me to fucking watch it, okay? My brother freaking loved watching it. It was Star Trek every night, and I would sit there like this, roll the eyes back in my head, nod off practically. I was like, oh my God. I am a non-smoker now. Exactly. Do this. Say it 15 times a day. When you're outside, when you're doing your dishes, keep saying it. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. That's all you have to do. Never put it in the future because you're not in the future. You're here. You're here right now. When you look at Star Trek, okay, as far as portals, when they talked about the molecular structure, which is what they were doing when they would stand on that round thing and they would go, you remember when Kirk and Spock, and then they went down to the gangsters in the 40s. That was one of my favorite. I love that, you know, and they got their guns and their cool hats and their pinstripe suits. Okay, I'm over it. Huge fan here. Sorry. But what you want to do is you want to just look at that for a second in its context. Suddenly they were there and suddenly they were gone. What makes any of us think we know what is here in the scientific world because we can see it? What makes that? If you look at heat and you set fire to something, it changes. It blows up right in front of you. If you look at ice, it changes the ground. The way you perceive the ground is changed through ice, all right? So there's so many different layers. There's definitely portals. Shadow people to me are people that live on the astral level. I believe our government literally or the powers that be, or the entities that be, or the energies that be, I believe they actually astrally are doing all this shit a year ahead of time. This war that we're dealing with right now, this was happening last year. This was happening last year. So when you look at the energy, and I believe in time travel 1000%. I was so hoping it was true when I was a kid. I absolutely believe in time travel, but let's explain it a little bit differently, the way that I understand it. And I'm always saying I'm a time traveler. Okay, so the way that I see it is we are a strand of thought here, and I am present in this moment. Like I'm talking to you guys, and you guys are paying attention to me. We're doing this back and forth. However, my energy expands outside of my physical body. So I'm not even fully here on earth. So where is the rest of my energy and what exists? I believe that I'm hidden from myself. It sounds really weird. It's like, I'm hidden from myself. But I believe I'm hidden from the rest of the energy that didn't incarnate here. I don't think it takes a lot of brain power to maneuver on this planet, really, quite frankly. I mean, if we even had like 4% of our brain power on a soul level, I think we'd be freaking Pulitzer Prize winners, right? If it weren't all staged. I'm sorry. I think we'd be that way. I just believe it. So I do believe in time travel. And I believe that through an altered state, this could be through fasting, this could be through meditation, this could be through heightened exercise. I believe we can go, how I see the body's energy when I'm channeling it is, I see a person's soul, okay? So I always put my hands here because it comes out through the heart chakra to me, and I see it like a long clothesline rope. And when I look at it, I see energy expand in and out like that from people, and I see it go up and down, and I see it go sideways. So that energy that goes out through here, I believe we have heart cords, and I believe they're like ropes that we cast out, and I literally believe we can move through dimensions. I believe this. This is kind of what meditation is to a certain degree. This is kind of like lucid dreaming is. It's all of those things. We can move, and I see this when I look at people, and some people literally have been placed in our path to elevate our soul's energy. That's what it's been. They've been placed in our path to do that, okay? So when I see that, that's what I believe. I also believe when it comes to suicides, and I'm going to say this, besides entities on the other side that are fucked up and do shit and want to screw with human beings, keep in mind, human beings, we have all of the energy. We are creative. The essence of us is, it's so layered and so amazing. Human beings are amazing. I'm talking about people that are no longer human. When you can murder somebody, and you can murder a child, and you can drink blood for your own vanity and your own power, you're no longer human. Human beings don't do that. They don't do that. So we're not talking about humans. You can call them alien to the human race. We're not talking about humans. I don't care what anyone says. You want to make fun of me? You want to mock me like Tom Hanks is mocking everybody right now in David Spade? You want to do that? Do that. But no, Tony Robbins. Okay. I have no idea. I have some clients that went to Australia to see Tony Robbins. The thing, okay, he was ahead of his time for sure. He started a whole thing. He was produced and marketed. And like Scientology, he came with everything in a neat package. You can have what I have. You can have everything I have if you do this. Now he's gone into the spiritual world. I listen to some of the things he says, and I can agree with them, but I listen to other things he says, and I'm like, fuck you, you're just full of shit. I'm going to say that. The other thing is, nobody is a spiritual leader or guru because you can't really assign yourself that. I'm going to use an example that's going to piss a lot of people off, so be forewarned because I'm that kind of bitch, all right? So let's look at Deepak Chopra. Let's go after Deepak Chopra. No, I'm kidding, but let's look at him. Back in the 70s, there used to be a channeling of a person called Dr. Peoples, or an entity, and he always came through, or the entity always came through with a Hindu accent, okay? So we thought that was credible with Buddhism and the rise of Buddhism at the time. So people who spoke with an Indian accent were easily marketable. You have to understand, entertainment, Tony Robbins does creep me out too. Entertainment is just that, it's entertainment. So when I look at Deepak Chopra, however you say his name, talking, it strikes me as hilarious, his accent, because I think that he might have been picked to elevate himself in the ranks of that because of that accent. I'm just sorry, because I'm thinking of Dr. Peoples, and they would go on and they would talk in that accent. I'm like, why has everybody got to be on the other side? Like, what is they all Indian in the accent? I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't think so. No. But it's interesting because depending on what it is, sleep paralysis is several things to me. Sleep paralysis, that's a good question, actually. Sleep paralysis can be entities coming into your energy frame. It can be you leaving your body and being unable to get back in. It can be your body being shut down to elevate your energies. It can be all of those things, okay? It can be sleepwalking is so amazing because somebody is driving the vehicle while the driver is taking lunch somewhere else. I love sleepwalking. I find it's an altered hypnotic state is what it is. And it's like the soul has been hypnotically thrown out of the body and the body is still moving, which is an interesting concept, meaning the car can drive itself. But where is the engine of the car at that time? I don't know. I actually have to think about it. I used to have a friend that had sleepwalking. It was always sleepwalking. They had to lock the doors and he could even get out the doors when he was a kid. I knew one person that did it. And I always felt that he was like, it was a hypnotic thing with him. That's what I always thought. But there's so many things. Okay, so what I was saying is, while we are all stuck in our house and some of us may be riding our bikes at the beach or running hills or whatever, by ourselves 6 feet away from other people, okay? So we may be doing that. But when you're watching these people on their Instagrams, I want you to pay attention to how they respond and how they are not creative at this point because of their Instagrams aren't as interesting as the kids in your high school's Instagrams. So as a culture, we really have to wrap our heads around what we're doing with these networks. Oh, okay. Again, my battery's going. And yeah, I'm going to plug it in. You know me, I'm prepared. I'm going to plug in. Sorry. I'm doing this now. I can plug this in. Sorry. Got to do it. Little timestamp. Oh God, that's not right. Okay, wait, there. Maybe I'm supposed to look there. I don't know. I'm trying, you guys. Oh, this is like a schizophrenic filming. I so apologize. I will get this right. Give me another 2 weeks. I've got so many things I'm behind on. And I try to do this at night when this is my first free moment, when I have energy back again. I want you guys to do your homework, though. Don't listen to anything anybody says. And remember, psychics' perceptions up until recent, okay? Recently, when we go to all of these communities, these, I'm a spiritual leader, I'm a spiritual teacher. If somebody says that to you, tell them to fuck off. Nobody aligned and said they're a spiritual teacher. They either have information that they're going to share or they're going to call themselves the anointed one. Why don't they just go around saying they're Christ too? I mean, seriously. They've been teaching that things are all love and light and positive. And I'm not saying they're not, but what I'm saying is, you need to look around you, especially with what's going on the planet. Look around you. It's not all love and light. It isn't. Reiki's interesting. I do Reiki, and Reiki is a very interesting concept, which reminds me, I'm behind on some of my Reiki clients. If you're on here, I apologize. Reiki is very interesting because when you do Reiki, okay, you are doing laying on of hands. And when you do it, you can actually feel something come into you and do the healing. That's what you're connecting with. That's what you're commanding. So what is it that you're healing? Who's in you? I don't know. See, I don't know. However, I do know it works. So then I'm on the side of Reiki. So there's that. There's people that can heal with their words. There's people that can heal with an act of kindness. And that's what I want to talk about. In order to raise your energy and to clean oneself, it is always better to focus on other people. So to do an act of kindness, you don't have to be famous. You don't have to be on camera. You don't have to be anything. You can talk to a child that's upset. You can tell a parent what a good parent they are when they're frustrated in the wherever that they can't get into now because of the lines. You can do these things. You can also elevate your own thinking in kindness to yourself. By that, I mean, when you look at yourself, I have a beautiful friend who doesn't think much of her appearance, and she's absolutely beautiful, okay? She's beautiful. Her personality is amazing. And she doesn't think that. And it actually hurts my heart. I know she's watching this. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to out her in case other people that know her are watching. But she's absolutely beautiful. So every time she calls herself the nasty name that reaffirms to them on the astral that you think you look ugly, then they're able to use that in your thinking when you get depressed. Depression is a lower vibration. So when depression is in a person, they can commandeer and hijack your mindset. So even if you live in the shittiest mindset, you don't have food, you're out on the street homeless, you will notice some of them are amazingly happy. They're happy. Why are they happy? They don't have food. They don't have showers. They're probably pretty freaking cold. They live in a tent if they live in a tent. People don't even look them in the face. But why are they smiling? Because they choose to. Happiness is a choice. As soon as you choose happiness, you've raised your elevation. As soon as you choose kindness and you look at somebody with absolute kindness towards them, whatever they are, you have chosen to elevate your energy. As soon as you pray, you should be praying. I shouldn't say should. Praying will elevate your energy better than anything. All praying is saying, you can say things like, I pray for anybody and everybody who needs my prayers. I pray for my family, and you can name them, my animals, my neighbors, whatever. Or you can say, you know, God, do with me what you will. Lead me in the direction I need to do. I need to be for you. You choose my direction and you can follow that. And you can pray for the world to heal, although I think that's a long time coming, quite frankly. You can pray for all of these things. It's going to elevate your energy. That's what you can do. And that's actually because we're in a spiritual war. That's what we need to be doing. Do it silently. You do not need to go to a church. A church is a man-made meeting place supposed to be for people to know that that is where they can pray in case they feel that they can't pray. However, that's been hijacked by the pedophiles as well, as you know, and the control freaks and the narcissists. And I'm going to say this again. It is my contention at this point in my life, for my life experience, that narcissistic human beings are not human beings, okay? Their soul has stepped aside and there is a void of soul. I believe this also to be true with people on the other side that try to come through in a negative way. They too are not of God. People who are in the blood cult are not of God. So the blood cult, I can't even say it. It sounds fucking ridiculous. Look what they do all the time. There's so many people that go missing. So we have to actually ask ourselves what that's about. It's not normal that 800,000 children a year go missing. Where the fuck are they all going? I mean, come on. 4 and 5 years old, they went out for a walk to the grocery store? I don't think so. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you guys. They didn't go out to the grocery store, okay? 4-year-old is just running down the street. Maybe to the ice cream truck, but to disappear forever, I don't know what to say about that. What I will say though, and the little boy, Gabriel Fernandez, the little boy that his parents killed, you guys asked me about that last week. That pissed me off to no end. And those 4 social workers should actually have to experience their death in the same way that he did, really, in order to learn. This is an eye for an eye in that case. But that little boy, I actually didn't channel his energy, but I asked my guides to show me. I can't. I will start sobbing and I can't. I actually can't do it. I can't do it. I can't bear it, even though I know that he's with God now. I know that there's a special place for him. And I asked them to show me like what his purpose was, because I thought he was such a sweet, happy little boy. And he kept asking people for help, and fucked up adults will not step in. None of my business, none of this. But they will, however, go on Ellen's Instagram and go, poor Ellen, she can't do her show. Shut up. Okay, anyway, sorry, I'm so sarcastic tonight. I apologize. Okay, so anyway, the little boy, he actually was a elevated teacher energetically, but he's in a little boy body, obviously. And he came literally to show those people, he gave them a chance. There's something happened in a past life where he wasn't saved either. And he agreed to be born, and he gave them a chance the people that were involved in his death to correct or rebalance, and they really royally fucked up. So he was a mirror for their hatred. They're going to have to see his reflection for the rest of his life. That's what I was told. And then I prayed for him because he did such a good thing. He stood there and he tried to save himself and no one helped him. What is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. But he was a mirror. So they have to look in the mirror of him. His soul was a reflection of goodness that they could not see in themselves. What happens with that is people who behave like that, as people who are not like in the entertainment industry, these are just evil demonic people on the planet. And we can call them demonic, but we don't call Charlie Sheen demonic. It's interesting, isn't it? His own wife says, ex-wife says, he looks at pedophilic shit on the computer and she puts it in the court documents. But we don't look at him as a demon. He punches out his girlfriends, gives people AIDS, knowingly so. And we don't look at him as a demon. We give him more money and give him a TV show. That's what we do. That's what we do on this planet. This should tell you it's hell. But what's interesting is the people that behave like the little Gabriel's parents, that they did this shit. The reason that they do this is because they're picking up on the strand of consciousness. It's very important to elevate the way you think. Because somebody who is like his parents, who are abusive and disgusting and murdered and vile, and the social workers for the children's services that ignored them, they should be carrying the fucking shame. They should not live another day of joy in their life for what they did to that boy, or any child that they let go disappearing out of social services, bunch of pigs. Okay, so having said that, they are one strand of our consciousness. Okay, so they're down here, and the people that are not like that are over here, and then there's everybody in between. That's why it's so important to raise your thinking. Even from what I just said, I should not be judgmental because I'm not God. However, my earth self wants to kick the shit out of them. But you have to raise your thinking. Because if you give in to negative vibrations and thought like that, this is the kind of thing that happens. Other people pick it up and they respond to it. It's very weird. We're all kind of attached, but yet not. So it's very important to raise the vibration. The way to raise it is to consciously harness the body's energy, keep it elevated, keep it open, keep it, what would my word be for that? Just keep it positive. So when you feel afraid, don't give in to fear. Say, yeah, I'm afraid of heights. Gather yourself. I've had to do this when I'm hiking with my friend Maya and we're on a ledge and my friend David, and I'm like, I'm not going. And I start to cry. I really start to cry. I have started to cry. I've been called a baby and left on the side of a cliff, sometimes 10 miles out from the car, way the hell high up. But what I've done is I've said, okay, you are here now. So you need to step out of your fear and put your big girl panties on and walk across that. That's what you need to do with fear. They feed off of fear. You must not show fear. The way to get rid of fear is to ask God to take it from you. Or if you're going to do it in a mantra way, say, I am no longer fearful of anything now. I am not fearful of anything in my life now. I am not fearful of heights now. I am not fearful of the government now. I'm not fearful of this now. And then I want you all to take action against something that you feel is inappropriate. Whether you say to a family member, I don't agree with you. Maybe you've been quiet for years and you've stuffed it down. I want you to say to them, I don't agree with you. And when they yell at you, I want you to say to them, I'm entitled to my opinion and you're entitled to yours. But this is my opinion. I want you to start standing strong. We have too much fear, and it's the fear that they're feeding off. This is what the news is about. They put this shit on there. So-and-so's in the hospital with coronavirus, but we have no tests. So how the fuck do you know they have coronavirus if you have no tests? I'm just curious. Could you tell me the tests? Because more people die from TB and contract it. Fear, and by the way, if you have faith, you shouldn't have fear, because faith tells you that you will be protected in God's love. So why are you afraid? Because you don't really believe or have faith. So you have to practice faith. You have to. And it's really hard. I'll give you an example. When you're about to give birth, all you ladies out there, and they're telling you, it's okay, this baby's coming out. I remember thinking, no, I'm fucking dying. I'm in hell. This is not happening. There's nothing coming out of here. I'm being sucked into the bowels of hell right now, and that's what's happening. That's what I remember thinking. But I had to get over my fear in the middle of giving birth. I was terrified. Like, holy shit, what's happening here? Like, this is never coming out. So this is what we need to do. We need to do it as a group of collective people. You can't break through. You can't break through when you pray and when you get rid of fear. Even if you are a fear, this is what defines, it sounds so weird, what defines us as human beings, actually, in my opinion, is stepping up when we are afraid and choosing to speak up, even at the risk of somebody hurting us. And that's where faith steps in. So we have to practice it. And the way to practice it is with little ways. If you see somebody treating somebody wrong in public, you speak. You say, that's not nice. Don't talk that way. If you see somebody who's crying, ask them, how are you? And actually listen to them. Listen to them. Take 5 minutes to ask somebody how they are who you don't even like, even if you're in a hurry. That's probably the hardest thing for me when I'm in a hurry and my mind's like ADD, to actually temper it back and say, wait, let me find out what's going on with this person. Even if it's not somebody that I can get anything from, like, meaning it's not, somebody that's in my family or somebody that I would ask somebody different. Call somebody you haven't called, ask them how they are, even if for 5 minutes. These are things to actually, biochemical something. Yeah, I do. It is spiritual warfare, and they're using everything on the earth to fuck with us. As for 5G, I'm under the impression, in my feeling right now, whoever is doing something, because my energy is so, I'm really tired, and that's not me. I'm so hyper that I usually need to run 13, 14, 20 miles a day in order to sleep at night. That's how wild I am inside of myself. I'm like a wild horse running a field. That's how I see myself in my own head without the 4 hoofs. But I like to run through the fields, and I like to get tired, and I like to do that. But I'm really tired right now. So I do feel the frequencies are being pulled. But I kind of, when I'm focusing frequency-wise, when I'm meditating, I'm focusing on the healthiest place for me to exist. That's the wording I'm used. So tell me what is physically healthy for me to be vibrating at right now within the context of 5G. Of course, I know chemtrails are out there. They were out there on the weekend, and I was running around. So when I focus on things like that, I say, just allow me a healthy existence within a frequency. So I'm always asking to have my body tuned, and I'm always kind of meditating on that so that I don't overextend. Like, I don't overrun on a day when I have like a sore ankle or something. I feel what feels correct. But I would say with 5G, it's probably a combination of things. Okay, panic attacks. Oh my God. Okay, thank you. There, we'll talk about panic attacks. Panic attacks, okay? Oh yeah, well, the thyroid is the third, is the throat chakra. But panic attacks are genetic. It's in our wiring for some of us, okay? I've suffered for them my whole life. There were points where I couldn't leave the house. I was actually agoraphobic for 3-4 years at a time, and I couldn't get in a shower because I couldn't handle the water on my body. And I couldn't change my clothes because I couldn't put them in the water. It was very, very, very strange. Okay. Panic attacks, you are genetically predisposed. I take it to be you are probably heightened empathically and pick up on other people's energy. So you have to learn how to stay centered in who you are, which means you have to know who you are as a person first. And if you're a young person, you might not know that. You might not know why you're feeling the way you are if you're not a psychic. Panic attacks will click in. They will click in at certain spiritual points in your life, and they will also click in as a psychic, psychic precursor to something negative that's going to happen. So if you are having a panic attack, the first thing you do, I couldn't for years. I didn't sleep for 3 months one time, and I did have to go and get meds to go to sleep because I was absolutely batshit crazy. I had a new baby. I had postpartum. I had somebody pass away, their brother, and I was fucking crazy having panic attacks, and I was born with them anyway. So I did go to a doctor to get medicine. I'm not against it if you really need it at the time. And I had not slept normally in 3 months. I had not eaten. My hair was falling out. maybe weighed 100 pounds. I was just nutty. And I was afraid of everything, and I could hear things in triplicate. There was something with my hearing where I could hear things like 2 doors down outside down the street that wasn't on the street kind of thing. So it was interesting. But there's a psychic sensitivity to things. Also, when we go through huge energetic changes in the body, pregnancy, hormonal changes, that will also bring on panic attacks. So here's what I learned to do once I got off the psych meds. I was on heavy psych meds for about 3 years, to be completely honest with everybody, because I couldn't even look a person in the eye without having a complete panic attack. I could not eat a bowl of soup that had a carrot in it, because if I felt the carrot in my mouth, I started to freak out, okay? Which, don't ask me why. The food thing really clicked in for me then. So it was very uncomfortable for me. And the more that I didn't eat, the more psychically open I got, which made it even worse. So what I learned to do so you need to actually learn how to calm yourself. And what saved my life, I'm going to be completely honest, what saved my life. I got 2 or 3 pairs of running shoes and choking fear. Absolutely. That's from childhood abuse. That's what that was, the choking. That you nailed that one right there. And I'm okay with saying it, but that's where it was. For me, it started at age 4. So at age 4, I was unable to chew solid food, etc. Due to what was going on around me and what happened, I had this real issue with my throat. So that was a problem. And didn't realize it till I was older. And then it hit me when I had Keith, and then his brother died. It hit me, it triggered me. So I was triggered. You're triggered by panic too. You're also triggered by empathic things. But what I learned to do is I learned when I was very little, and after I had my kids, I learned to run. I learned to hike up any hill I could find. I learned to pull my car over, put my running shoes on by myself and hike. I learned to hike in the dark. I learned to conquer my fears in other ways. I learned to go out in the middle of the night. I was terrified. Believe me, I'm afraid of the dark. I'm still afraid of the dark. Although the dark is just the light in the dark. So in the morning, when it's dark in the morning, it's just morning, but it's dark. So the trees look the same, you just can't see them. Turn the lights off in your house, walk in the front door in the dark, step back out, turn them off, walk back in. It's the same thing. So you don't need to be afraid, unless technically you're running in some weird neighborhood. But I would go in nature because I trust animals, okay? So I trust the animals. They're not going to hurt me. They're my friends, not the people out on the street. So I would go, and every time I felt a panic attack coming on, and it comes on like you think you're going to fucking die. I'd be in airplanes. We got arrested in an airport one time coming home. Long, boring story. I mean, I got pulled off a plane because I was having a panic attack and screaming at people, but I wasn't wrong. I was picking up psychic information, and I was like a live psychic wire. And it was just before 9/11. We were in Seattle, and I saw the pilot look at the wheels on the airplane. My kids were little. Jason videotaped me the entire time. John begged me to shut the fuck up. The police came and they escorted me, and then I was given a credit card, and John's like, you can take the car, you can drive home to California. Anyway, long, boring story short, I saw the pilot. He was a Middle Eastern man, which I had no problem with. Seattle's full of Middle Eastern people. Actually, they employ a lot. And I saw the pilot, and he was looking at the tire of the airplane. You could see them outside, and he kicked it, and suddenly I triggered. This was on the 10th of August. I triggered into him taking planes down in a terrorist attack, and started screaming that in the airport, which it was preceding the event of 9/11. So obviously I was picking up on things psychically. That was part of my panic as well. So running, exercise actually corrected my brain chemistry. It released, I don't have bipolar disorder, no. Bipolar disorder, though, is actually the soul not integrating into the physical body, and it can also be other people's fucked up issues short-circuiting your wires. You could be very empathic. But no, I'm not bipolar that I've ever been told. Maybe I am, and I don't know. Might be fun. But running actually got me to be able to sleep. So once I was able to sleep off the medicine and start running again, that's how I manage my anxiety. And a lot of people in gyms, and a lot of addicts, and a lot of people that have all kinds of like addiction issues or panic disorder, these are the people who are running miles and miles and hiking. So that became my lifestyle change. I turned down work on TV shows because they wanted me to be there at 9 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm never going to get down from hiking. So my priority is my mental health so that I never feel like that again and I'm able to live in this world in a calm way. And running or hiking, it's not like I'm running all the time. Being in nature and going for 14 miles or 20 miles, at least doing 7 a day, is what saved my life. And I am so grateful for it. And in the midst, after I had Keithy, and yeah, exactly, endorphins, that's exactly it. And people go, well, now you're addicted to exercise. I'm like, yes, and exercise clearly is much the fuck worse than crack cocaine, right? Duh. Like, why not a healthy addiction? But exercise, since I was little, I started doing cross country when I was actually in first grade. And when I grew up in my home and I was having a lot of issues in the home I was raised in, and there was a lot of things going on, I just would go around and walk around the parks. I was always in the parks. I was gone all day in the parks on my bikes with my running shoes, in the night, in the dark, wherever. I would just walk out the front door and go walk. I mean, and I'm 7, 8, and I'd just go for a little walk. That's what I would do. So to put your body in harmony, to me, being in nature is the quickest way to help it. So exercise, whether you're depressed, whether you're fat, I don't care. I've had my clients say, well, I'm fat, I'll wait to lose weight. Well, you're never going to lose weight if you say that. You got to take the action first. So take the action first. And I learned after Keithy was born, I was probably in truth spending 6 hours a day. I'm actually lucky my kids lived through that because I really can't remember where I was dropping them all the time. Not dropping them. I had somebody watching them. My mother-in-law, my husband, all of that. But he was going through his own issues. So it was actually, I think maybe the focus on the kids was good for him after his son passed. But for me, I couldn't even stay in the house. Like, I literally couldn't be around anything. And and I will tell you, the entire time I felt that depression and postpartum, I heard voices at Keithy. I know, I love my Keithy. He's so cute. He may be at the beach bicycling right now. I may have gotten a text about that. He's my sweet kid. That kid's very sweet, like a very heart-centered child. Anyway, long, boring story with that. I couldn't stay still. So I learned, and I was gone about 6 hours a day. Anytime I drove my car to the grocery store anywhere and I couldn't go in there, I would just park the car and find a hill and go up it. And it saved my life. So I believe it saves your life. It is my first thing I do in the morning. So that's what you guys need to do. You actually need to do it. And what I was going to say is the voices in my head that I'm not schizophrenic were telling me to kill myself after I had Keithy and Jimmy passed. I literally for 3 years hid in fear from a voice in my head telling me, you just need to kill yourself. You can be with him. You just need to kill yourself. I lived with that every day. And so I had to counterbalance it. I knew that they were fucking with me on the other side, but they came in through the depression. So depression needs to be eradicated. And the only way I know how to do it better than medicine, unless you're in a completely psychotic state, which I was, is through exercise. So it's extremely important that you, Jimmy, I know somebody out there knows Jimmy. Yes, my Jimmy, or Jimi Hendrix over there. But I think, yeah, my stepson was Jimmy. Yes, and he was a darling kid, and that's too bad. But anyway, the voices kept telling me to do that. So I learned through running to really shift my energy. I don't like George Clooney. Whoever just said that, I just saw George Clooney and I went in over there. I don't like him. And you know why I don't like him? Because I used to read a couple of his girlfriend years ago. And I don't like him from what they told me about that. Sorry, I'm biased there, so I'm not going to repeat it. But he might like little girls. No, not little girls. 14-year-olds dressed like cheerleaders. Let me just say I heard that. But I actually think he's gay, so I don't know what to say. What do I know? I don't like Tom Brady either, and don't send me hate mail about that. Something about him being his age and being that physical doesn't make sense to me. So I think he might be part of the blood cult. That's what I think. But I don't know. I haven't channeled it, so I can't really say that. Okay, so getting back to everything. Exercise will elevate your energy as well because it will give you immediately correct your chemical thinking if you have depression. So just walk out your front door. And if you walk out your front door, go for 20 minutes down the street and turn around and come back. That's it. Or 10 minutes and come back and do that 3 times a day. You don't have to go on huge 20-mile hikes, or whatever. But if you want to, you can challenge yourself. Okay, George Carlin, I'm going to have to channel him. I don't pick up anything about him right now. Okay, celebrities who sacrifice their own children. It's part of their religion. They actually believe that this is going to elevate them, and it's a good thing. And I'm going to give you an example that is not murder-like, but I'm going to give you I'm going to give you an example. Okay, people from very, very strict Catholic families and very, very religious families, maybe the ones that come into this country for the first generation, believe that if they can send their child to the priesthood or to be a nun, that this is the greatest honor you can have on earth. So let's just rethink that into a cult, like a Luciferian cult that Nicole Kidman was raised in by her father. And she's born into it. Like literally, she's a 5-year-old being told that this is our religion. Just like Catholic people in Ireland at the turn of the century thought being a priest was like being with God, right? So same thing, just because we like our religion or we think ours is right, doesn't mean that they don't think that theirs is right. So you have to look at it from that perspective, okay? From a detached, without getting enraged about what their religion entails, okay? I believe Katie Holmes, obviously. And thank you guys for all of the stuff you're doing, your super chats and super stickers. I think it's super stickers. I'm reading about this, I'm learning. I'm so like grateful because it gives me a chance to do this, which is cool. You guys told me to do this, so I'm doing it. But what happens in the Luciferian religion when they sacrifice their children, if they're at that level, I'm really hesitant to say that because not everybody that wants to be a Satanist or follow it goes to that level. Not every Catholic person wants their kid to be an altar boy or wants them. Maybe they just believe in Jesus and maybe they want to pray at the high holidays and maybe that's what they want to do. So there's a huge difference there, right? So these people believe that the greatest honor they can do is to sacrifice their child. In other words, what is Lent in the Catholic religion? To sacrifice, okay? So they believe it in that sense. If I give my child, I am elevating our family by offering a gift to the gods. I mean, it's very primitive. But then again, we're pretty primitive, aren't we? In so many different ways. Okay, so let's look at Katie Holmes. Katie Holmes married Tom Cruise, who is a known man who makes deals. What did she get? 60 million? I think it was 60 million. That's what she signed. She gave him a child. She put her career on hold. She gave him a child. And then I think he wanted her to stay married again, re-sign the contract and stay married again. And I think she declined the $60 million, which gives you a little bit of insight, if that is in fact true about, if that's in fact true about her, right? So you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if that's actually true. Did she turn down 60 million? Yeah, that's pretty freaking horrible, right? But anyway, I don't know if she did or not, but what must it be like? But I believe that she is part of that cult because first of all, he is. And again, I'll go back. And yes, Elon Musk, I don't think you can elevate at this energy level to that level of status without participating. If you can, I wish those people would step forward and say, literally, I'm not part of this. Oh, that's what I wanted to say about Harvey Weinstein. Okay, so Harvey Weinstein, I want you to look at him now versus then, okay, whenever, before, right? So before, something is choking my back here. It's my sports bra. What I do is I run in to do these videos. I take off my sweaty clothes and put on clean ones without showering, just so I can get here and get this done. I'll shower later. But when you look at Harvey Weinstein, I want you to look at him. He is deformed looking now. He was never good looking, okay? No, you can't sell. Okay. Somebody just asked, can I sell my soul? You can sign a contract to be tricked into believing that you can, but you don't own your soul to sell it. But once you agree to follow their doctrine, there are entities that will come into your energy field, and those entities, I'm going to tell you an Eddie Murphy story, I've already told it, but anyway, there are entities that will come into your energy field, and then you will be taken away from it, so you won't enjoy the fruits of your labor for agreeing to their contract. Let me put it that way. Tom Cruise is nuts, isn't he? I mean, I don't know. He makes money, but do you even watch his movies? I don't care. Soul recycling, in my opinion, is real, but here is how I feel it's real. Reincarnation, yes. Choosing to come in and balance karma and experience something different, yes. Soul recycling, from my understanding and what I've done, is soul recycling. So let's say one of these Luciferian types, well, let's use Tom Hanks, because I'm really having like Tourette's with Tom Hanks tonight, or David Spade. So better yet, Kate Spade. So Kate Spade comes from that family where she's involved in it and they murder her. And her husband wears a rat mask the week after because that's sensible, and we should definitely listen to what the hell he's saying because he's running around with a mask that has a rat on it, which means he's saying, I'm not a rat, and if you're a rat, it's a message. But we're not stupid, we know this. Or he's a fucking asshole after his wife died, and he's doing that in front of his daughter wearing a rat mask. All right, so let's say Kate Spade, she's in the blood cult over there. For whatever reason, it's something she does in secret. It's something she married into. I don't know, whatever. She does this, so she's murdered. So her soul is then going to be captured back. She doesn't really go on in the same way because she has distanced herself from the God's energy. She can get back to it, but there's certain steps that take, and I don't really understand that. That's what I believe they mean by recycling souls. They claim them into a lifetime. They claim them into a lifetime. They claim them back. That's what happens. And I believe some of God's children have been claimed back here too, because I think this is hell. I really do. I think what I'm watching on TV and what I'm seeing, I'm like, what planet am I on? And why am I listening to this shit? I mean, here I am in my house. Here you guys are in your house, and I'm supposed to stay in for what? I could be a carrier. Why the fuck am I a carrier? I don't even believe that. I'm sorry. Call me a naysayer. I don't believe it. I think you'll know if you're a carrier. You could also be a carrier of 100 other things. And then there's people going, stay at home. Stay at home for us. No, you stay at home. I'm not staying at home the whole time. So come get me. I'm not going to do it. And if you arrest me, I hope somebody will bail me out. Because if I'm out there walking down the street, please. I mean, because you're crammed in the grocery stores looking for shit, right? Why don't you enjoy your life? Okay, I do enjoy my life. If somebody was asking me that, I really enjoy my life. I have the best life ever. I'm doing the work I love to do, and I'm talking to you guys, and I'm still going hiking. Yes, I am. And I've got 2 beautiful kids and a fabulous grandbaby, a kitty, and all of that. Anyway, I don't know if you were even talking to me, but that's my answer. Okay, so when we're looking at the way the soul recycles, if you cross out of your body, let me give you another example. They're really hell-bent on this planet on drugging the elderly with cancer to drug them out of their pain and help them cross over, right? So in effect, these people are crossing over under the influence of morphine, right? So when they cross out of their body, they literally don't know where they are. They literally don't know where they are, right? So where are they? They don't know because they're high, basically. Like you're on morphine, you shut your body down, you cross out. The soul takes a little while to actually, it is a prison planet. Living on the prison planet, boom, boom. I find everything funny at this point, and I will not listen to the government. I'm sorry, they're not my authority. I'm just saying it. I'm one of those. I'm one of those. I just don't carry a gun and a tank behind me. But I am one of those. I'm an anarchist at heart. Anyway, when you cross out under something, it's very easy in that brief moment of time where you are lost unless you are protected. Now, good people are protected when they come out. Dementia is living on the astral and here, crossing out, crossing in without being able to tell the difference. That's what dementia actually is, in my opinion. Hardening of the brain, but it's also on a soul level, stepping outside of the body and then not knowing when you step back in. So confusing the worlds that they live in. So they live in another dimension while being here. So it's like part of this is here and part of that's there. And when they come back here, they're like looking around, but I was just talking to Susie over there. Who are you? And then when they're over with Susie and they come back, they're like, oh, it's Tony or whatever. That's still not charging there. Sorry. So there's a lot of things that go on, but the way I want you guys to know, and I'm just going to close this down for a second because I'm staring at someone staring at me over in the corner. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, I want you to pray and actually exercise. I feel autism is a different way of experiencing the world. So they have some issue with communication and they are bringing in a new type of communication. Maybe it's telepathy. When you're in spirit form, okay, and you're communicating with spirits, you are using telepathy. Nobody's speaking out of their mouth. So I think we've lost the ability to use telepathy. Perhaps kids that have autism are bringing that back in because they have no other way to communicate. I mean, they do, but they don't, right? Like they're probably looking at us going, can you not understand me? And we're like, huh? So they may be ushering in something different. I'm not quite sure. Okay, Cancer. I'm going to answer this question. I keep reading something. Okay, then the empath. Empath means to feel other people's energy and to absorb it. So to live other people's life experience while absorbing what they are feeling, thinking, and projecting. You walk through it like it's secondhand smoke, and therefore you feel the smoke on you. Really hard to stop doing, because when you're that way, you're that way. Now, Cancer, my understanding when I channeled Farrah Fawcett, and I found it quite enlightening, okay? Oh, somebody's from Italy. Hi, people in Italy. Tell us how you're all feeling. Tell us. The Italians on here, the people in Italy right now, let us know how you are. Except for the people that can't let us know how they are, because we know how they are. But let us know how you guys are doing. Cancer, when I channeled Farrah Fawcett, I was actually told that it was an organism that flowered like a lotus. And I remember that specifically because I thought that's not how I would describe Cancer. But observing Cancer from outside of the physical body, it was this beautiful growth. That to me reminded me of maybe an entity or something that comes on to the body, thinking that it's going to make a home on the body, but the body can't handle the intrusion, but it's not an intentional. So that was kind of interesting. It looked like a beautiful lotus. So I believe that it's a living, breathing thing, Cancer, not a disease the way that they treat it, but we're here on the side. So we have to, do this kind of thing. Oprah, I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of Oprah. I'm sorry. Just not a freaking fan. I'm sorry. Marlon Brando is a good example of the blood cult. Now, I saw Marlon Brando. I have to go with it. I love Marlon Brando from all of his early movies. Stella. Sorry. Oh, God. A Streetcar Named Desire. What a disturbed, fucked up play that was. He rapes his sister-in-law. And then Blanche, and then they're delusional. Anyway, I just couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. Stella. I'm thinking of Seinfeld, and I don't do it as well. Anyway, Brando, look what happened in his life. How many women did he marry? Dark-skinned women. How many dark-skinned babies did he have? And here's what's interesting. I had, and I will have to tell you this story, but it's true. My best friend, Maria, she was a psychic, and we worked at the same bookstore. And when Bonnie Lee Blakely came in for a reading wearing a wig, no joke, Robert Blake's baby mama who was murdered outside of Vitello's, which I ate at all the time. Stella! Oh, God, I'm sorry. I can't help myself. Okay, sorry. I'm talking about everything. Vitello's, okay, in Studio City, awesome restaurant. I mean, it's been taken over since. We used to take the kids there for New Year's Eve, and Emily, the neighbor, take them there and then take them on the subway for a ride and tell them like what happened, the murder. We'd sit at the booth. That's how sick we were at the time. I'm sorry. It's really wrong. Forgive me. It was just something to make stick in their heads at the time. All of that aside, Bonnie Lee Blakely came in for a reading with both Maria and I at 2 different times. We were both interviewed by the police when she died. When she came to me, she was not sure if the baby was Brando's kid, Christian Brando, or if it was Robert Blake's baby, okay? So Maria and I both got interviewed. Maria passed away at age 43 from cancer, and her kids were my kids' age, and I think of Maria all the time. If her sister's watching this, I love Maria Elena Vasquez, and she was a beautiful flamenco dancer, absolutely beautiful. And there's another story I'm going to tell on another day about her and how I met her, and how she knew my husband and how we met through that years later. Really funny. But anyway, Maria and I were both interviewed for that at the time, because when she ended up dead, they wanted to know what she came in for a reading for. I'm sure they didn't really believe we were a psychic, but they had to follow like her footsteps. Now, Brando is very interesting because I think that Brando actually shot his daughter's boyfriend, okay, the boyfriend who made the mistake. And here's the problem. You may want to be with the famous celebrity's daughter, girlfriends, all of that thing. You may want to do that. But remember, in a Luciferian family who practices this blood religion, anybody can be taken out. So that's what I think happened actually with his own daughter. I think she was sacrificed, but she hung herself. Now let's go back and look at this. seems reasonable at the time because she was in love with her boyfriend, or I don't know if she married him or not, but she was in love with him. And then Brando's son literally died. They blamed it on Brando's son. I don't think Brando's son killed him. I think Brando killed him, actually, which is a terrible thing to say. And then Brando got as fat as a house. I mean, basically wearing a muumuu at the end of his life. What the hell was that about? But I still, when he was younger, he was so beautiful. But when you look at the plays he was in and the stuff that he did, it was really interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He was a beautiful man. I mean, those lips. I'm sorry, I digressed. He was a bastard. But he would marry these women kind of in his, the Godfather. I know everybody likes him like that. But he would marry these women, and I don't think he would have been a good partner, quite frankly. Yeah, I don't think so. But Brando, I liked. My friend that I was talking about yesterday, actually, when I met her, had a picture of her with Brando at a dinner party, and he was wearing a diaper at the table, basically. I'm sorry, a muumuu. Stop. Okay, now I'm getting crazy. You got to go watch A Streetcar Named Desire, okay? But that was a Tennessee Williams play, and if you look at Tennessee Williams, what a fucked up dude. Like, how much do you hate your mother? How much do you hate your mother that you have to treat women in every single one of your plays like that? What is that about? It was very, very interesting. Okay, I'll stop. I will really stop. All right, I'm really stopping. Okay, that girl, Kanika Jenkins, I don't say her name right. I believe that's the girl that went missing in the hotel in Chicago. I think that's her. Whichever girl that was that they found. Okay, Steven Tyler. I can't talk about Steven Tyler right now. I'll talk about, okay, I'll say this. Is the devil real? How the hell do I know? The beast is real. So the concept of the devil is real. Do I believe the devil is literally one entity? No, I believe it is A Streetcar Named Desire. Everybody watch it. Stella. Oh, fuck, I can't stop. Tennessee Williams. I did so much work reading his plays that he traumatized me. I had to do a play with, I'll answer the devil question first. No, I'm going to answer the play question first. My mind's like, play devil. I did a play and I can't remember the name of it, but it was with Geraldine Page. I wasn't with Geraldine Page. I was playing Geraldine Page's part. But so many of his plays were like, I was the prostitute that came home and pretended I wasn't a prostitute. Like, the women were just terrible in his plays. They were delusional, crazy. The families were delusional. I'm like, Tennessee Williams, what the hell happened to you? And he was best friends with Stella Adler. And I studied at Stella Adler very briefly. And I'm a piss poor actress. Couldn't do it because my own personality would come out, and that's not an actress. An actress has to be able to be a comedian. Okay, that girl, Kanika Jenkins, or whatever her name is, in the hotel, I actually believe, and I think I said to somebody, one of my clients, I want to say it was Veronica. Now, Veronica might be on here. If she is, I'm going to say, hi, Veronica. I remember having this conversation with you when you asked me about it, but I believe the girl that died in the hotel was actually deliberately done in a ritual. And I'm going to say this, I don't know if they found her body or not, but I do believe something was harvested from her body, and I believe she was frozen. I think she was found in the freezer, and I believe it was an old white guy from out of the country that did it. There I am blaming old white men. I'm sorry. That's what I got in my head at the time. I haven't channeled it recently, but I will. I will channel it. I will. I'm actually getting really dizzy because someone is trying to come in here, and I'm not going to let them. They can just fuck off. Now I'm getting silly. I'm getting kind of crazy. Oh, happy birthday tomorrow. Wait, Aries. I was like Pisces. No, it's Aries. Anyway, I think that girl that was in there was actually targeted. Young women don't understand this, and young men, they just don't understand. When you're young and the guy talks to you, it's really sad that you actually, it's not him trying to get in your pants and get laid. It's him trying to see if he can like target you for sex crimes. I mean, sex crimes, sex trafficking, which will then lead to sex crimes. So it's really kind of sad. I don't know if JFK Jr. is still alive. I have no idea. I do know that back, again, when I was pregnant with Keithy, you guys are going to want to meet Keith one day, and I'm going to bring him on. He's going to do it, whether he likes it or not. But anyway, my Keithy, when I was pregnant with him, I did a show for NBC where it was with all the street kids. And I talked to them. A lot of them were squatters. A lot of them were the punk kids. the emo kids, but the squatter kids on the street. And they told me, okay, in one of the shelters in Hollywood, and I believe it's kind of where the Covenant House is right now. Keithy! Stella. Oh God, I got to get off here. I'm sorry. I haven't eaten in a while. Okay, so anyway, the kids in the shelter actually told me, some of them were gangbangers out on the street. Some of them were actually turning tricks. And it was a whole mixture. Kids that were squatting, kids with knapsack, kids who would do sex things and that. Morgan Freeman is a piece of shit. Okay. Oh God, did that come out? Where'd that come from? So the kids told me that, and they're squatting houses that were just like drug dens or squatting houses, that there were nicely dressed men that would come in the middle of the night and find the most drugged people. And if you were alone, you had to watch because those kids would be taken out and never seen from again. This has been going on a long time. Morgan Freeman. Okay, I know you all like him as an actor. Okay, I know you like Morgan Freeman, but here's where I stopped liking him. Here is where I stopped. So Morgan Freeman married a woman. He raised a daughter with this woman. I believe it was the wife's daughter. So this would be his adopted daughter. I don't care if he legally adopted her. She looked at him as daddy, okay? That woman grew up and had a baby known as his granddaughter. I don't care if they're blood related. This is the position in the family. He starts an affair with his fucking granddaughter. Or, yeah, it was his granddaughter. Then she ends up dead. That's all I have to say. I can't get past that. Sorry to be judgmental. I mean, who am I? He's a good actor. He should just be fucking his wife's family members who are younger that he raised, because that's fucking cool, right? Where is that shit? That shit's in the paper. I've been speaking about that shit for a long time. Oh, Montgomery Cliff. I used to have a cat named Montgomery. Long time ago, after Montgomery Cliff. Yeah, I know. Morgan Freeman, everybody acts like he's perfect. But he was actually, go back and ask, okay, was it his daughter he fucked or the granddaughter or both? It might have been both, but I believe it was the granddaughter. Then the granddaughter ended up dying by she was 31, gangbanger boyfriend, and I believe it was a hit, or whatever we're calling that. Beyonce and Jay-Z, can you not look at them? Look at them. It was the granddaughter. Yeah. See, I love Denzel Washington. I can't hear you. But that's right. It was the granddaughter. So when we're looking at Morgan Freeman, he is a brilliant actor. I've enjoyed many movies he's done. Shawshank Redemption, for one. But I'm not going to watch a man that so publicly crosses boundaries that his wife has to put it in court papers, whatever he did. It was the wife or the daughter, but granddaughter, sorry. And these are the adopted kids, not of blood. What are you doing when you cross that boundary? What are you doing? I can't support you. I can't support you. You need to stay away from me when you do that shit. You can't do it. I don't care if she's older. I don't care if she says, blank me. I don't care. I can't be with that. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's not okay. It's not natural. I don't care what they're trying to tell you. It's not natural. Pedophilia is not natural. Sleeping with even though they're not blood though, that's not like incest, but it's emotional incest, because she believes that is the electric company. Yes, I remember the electric company. God, you just flash back to my childhood. I'm like, geez, but it's just not nice to do that kind of thing. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, missing Native women and children. Oh my God, they're sacrifices. You blame the Queen of England, that fucking bitch. Yeah, I know. I've got to stop swearing. The Queen of England and her husband come into Canada and God knows whichever other country. I know they were running male prostitution. It's always boys. And I knew that when I gave birth to my boys. I don't know who this Bad Bunny is. Whoever this Bad Bunny is, I guess is a rapper. I'm not familiar. This is how old I am. Anybody that calls themselves Bad Bunny, I'm like, what the hell is that about? Yeah, well, what's his name? Cuba Gooding Jr. Didn't his dad die in a car? Drug car. Okay, Bill Cosby. I've done the Bill Cosby story. Bill Cosby is fucking guilty. This I know firsthand from somebody who was on the set of Cheers. As I said, she walked down the hallway. She was on the production thing. She walked down the hallway. He'd open his door and show her his, man parts. So on that and that alone, I don't know what the hell that is, right? So what is that? Like, should we give him more money? Maybe we should throw some more money at him. His wife has been indoctrinated into it because she supported him. There's no way she did not know that. And I believe he has one daughter that has come out and said something about that, but I don't know what. I'm hesitant. I'm going to have to actually research that. Jim Henson. Okay, Jim Henson. Yeah, Jim Henson caught a weird, thank you. Jim Henson caught a weird something at some point, and I can't remember. Very weird, right? Okay, you guys, I am so hyper right now. I have to go run around the block. Stella. I'm really sorry. That's from A Streetcar Named Desire. Okay, that's from A Streetcar Named Desire. And you guys should watch the movie. But Brando in his youth with his brute strength, and Carl Malden was in that. But Brando with his brute, abusive, rapist strength in that movie, there's something slightly appealing about him. I'm sorry. In his wife beater, the original wife beater, because it's in a different time frame. Okay, Eddie Murphy's story really quick. So while I was working at a shelter in the Valley, again, pregnant with Jason and Keith. Jason came and worked in the shelter with me when he was a baby. They let me bring him to work. So that was super cool. So my Jason was around that, and my Jason was with me. And then my Keithy was in my tummy. And then, so both of them were with me. Anyway, Eddie Murphy, I was working at a shelter for 18 and under in the Valley, where we took in street prostitutes, male and female, but under the age of 18. So could not be over 18. They would rescue them. You would call up and they would go to different states. I was what was known as a liaison at the time. So if one of the prostitutes had to go testify against a pimp and was going into court, I was the one that would go between the shelter and the police and the prostitute, go with her to the court and on the way to testify against the pimp and that kind of thing. I also took all of the kids to, like a house mom, to doctor's appointments. I checked them when they came in from there because sometimes they come in with needles, drugs, and cash. So one day there was a kid there, Lionel. Lionel used to be a kid from, I think he was the lover of the Mexican mayor and was rescued as a youngster. His mom sold him to the Mexican mayor. Don't quote me on that. Which part of Mexico, I don't know. And then he became a girl, or dressed as a woman. I almost want to say Monique was the name. Anyway, whatever. Came in with a bunch of money one night from the shelter. And so I had to go through all his stuff in all his pockets, right? And I'm like, how are you making like $500 when you just went to a doctor's appointment? So, long boring story short, we had a list of celebrities that targeted underage children. Eddie Murphy was on the list. This is when I found out Eddie Murphy, I'm going to say it right out there. This is when because he got busted for it later on, but Eddie Murphy apparently liked to proposition young female looking that were actually young men, boys, whatever, and who dressed like women, and he liked to take them for a date into a private secluded area where he would not touch them but touch himself while they would show him his feet. This is what I heard. This is firsthand information. He was on the list at this particular shelter. This goes back to Jason, who will be 28. So it's about 28 years ago. Yep, that was known back then. That was there. Oh, there were so many on the list. You have no idea. There was just this fucking list. We took in Divine Brown, too. I say we. I was just working there at the time. But Divine Brown, when Hugh Grant got a hold of her, she went into seclusion over there. There was a bunch of people. At the time that I worked there, though, Roseanne Barr donated money for the entire year to support them. And I believe some of her kids were actually in the shelter, if I'm correct. That's what I believe from back then. And that was during a Keithy time. So Keithy's 24, so 25 years ago. Would be in that time frame. Woody Allen, if this is not Captain Obvious, I can't help you. Again, Woody Allen was kicked off of which island? Epstein Island. Why was he kicked off of it? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not him. That's the other one, Spacey. Sorry. Woody Allen was on Epstein Island 6 times, and he liked young Asian-looking girls, like the 2 he adopted. I'm not saying anything or accusing him, but allegedly. He liked young Asian-looking girls. He liked to take pictures of them according to the documents. And he liked for them to call him grandpa or something. I don't fucking know what to say about that. Like, I guess he is a grandpa, but geez, do we got to pay these young girls? You know, who knows? And he took pictures of them. So his thing is to take pictures. And so it must be in his little data banks here for his little, you know, whatever they're calling that. I believe his daughter, I believe her, Dylan, when she says he did what he did, I believe it. I listen to her speak. I believe it. That's what I believe. So anybody that goes to a Woody Allen movie at this point, you're supporting that. Understand it. I'm trying not. Kurt Cobain was murdered. Yes, that's what I was told when I channeled the energy. Those two that you're mentioning there, the J and the C name, I'm not going to mention that, but I have just really awful feelings about them. Okay, I must go to bed or I'm going to just actually speak too much. Okay, bye you guys. Thank you all so much for the super chats and the super stickers. Now I got that name. I'm really working hard to get my technical stuff so much better. I'm so trying, okay? So I'm trying. So give me like another week. If I'm not good, then scold me. All right, so the devil is not one person. It's the entire beast system of which there are many elements working for the energy of the devil. Like God, there are energies. So there are many of us in the army of God that work together, the same with the beast system. It is the same, but different. The beast system works for the devil. God's system works for God. That's all I have to say. Keep your prayers, keep your exercises, pray for anybody you can, just anybody. Ask God to raise your vibration and to pray for those that can't and are sick and for this to be cleared up. I don't know that we're ever going to get cleared up because we are Stella. Oh God, I can't say it again. But just pray, just do that and exercise. Keep your faith and in 21 days, change your mindset. All right, I'm going. I've got to go. I've got to go because I'm really, really hungry and I think I'm losing my mind. I love you guys so much. I'll be back. Bye.